Yeah, and you've been a brilliant public face through all of this. And in fact, this week you posted a video on social media about how people view you in different environments and racism that you've experienced outside of work when you're not in your work clothes, if you like, compared to how people respond to you in a work environment when they know that you're a medic. Tell us a bit about this.
So it's not an original piece of work. It was inspired by some work that was done by Dr. Rigby, who's an orthopedic consultant over at Texas, Dallas, looking after the Black Lives Matters movement, saying, look, I might be a black man in a scrub suit, but you treat me completely differently if I'm in a hoodie and I'm racially profiled. And that was emulated on TikTok by Dr. Amika as well, and many other doctors. And it just struck home with me because this is something that I've lived with all my life, essentially. I wear a hijab, I wear shalwar kameez when I'm at the house. I'm a practicing Muslim, so I wear the abaya. And depending on what garment I'm wearing, it's very different. And it's not even just that it's off the street. It will be in my surgery. I went to a really lovely do. The chairwoman sitting next to me just went, that's an amazing costume that you're wearing. And I was wearing shalwar kameez. So I just looked at her and I went, babe, that's such a beautiful costume that you're wearing. And she was wearing a suit with a skirt. And I think that it's people don't realize that there is this discrimination. And this video was inspired, well, not inspired, but it was off the back of an encounter that I had in the park only about 2 weeks ago. I was with my children wearing shalwar kameez, very similar to the one in the video. And I'm shouting at my children in Punjabi, "Ruk jo, doro na." That means just don't run, stop. And this gentleman, white gentleman walking past, shouts at me very loudly and says, "You're in Britain, speak British." To which my 9-year-old turns around and looks at me and he says, "Mum, I think he means speak English." And we would go about our business, but I was just struck by how he treated me so differently. The next day, I work as a locum GP. I'm in my surgery, and my nurse asks me for a second opinion. I walk into the room that my nurse is in there with the patient, and lo and behold, it is the said gentleman from the park. And we recognize each other instantly. He looks at me and is shocked. And I smile, because I'm a smiley person anyway. And I said, "Hello, how are you?" I put my mask on, I gloved, gowned, I treated him. And then he said to me after the end of it, quite embarrassed, he said to me, "I am so sorry I shouted at you at the park. I didn't know that you were a doctor." And as the conversation developed, it sort of went into, I would never do this to anybody. I respect my key workers so much. In fact, I've been clapping for them every week. And then I just thought to myself, hang on, he doesn't see his prejudice and his discrimination based on my attire and the way that I'm dressed. He doesn't see the fact that I can speak multiple languages. And all he sees is an ethnic-looking woman screaming at her children in Punjabi. And that, in essence, is racism. What we've forgotten is that there is this hidden racism, but we cover it up with different words like prejudice, discrimination, and subconscious bias. Now, we all have those because what we're not familiar with, we don't know about. I know from my own South Asian community that something that is unfamiliar to you, you will tease at it, ridicule it, belittle it. I mean, we have a caste system. The way we value white skin over any other color is amazing. I mean, the Bollywood industry is full of how the Gora rung is amazing. But actually, we need to be actually tackling those things in our communities and looking at our own prejudice and checking base with that and saying, hang on, I have these, but let me learn about this culture. And then use your privilege as a bystander to say something. So if you see a woman on a bus stop or an Orthodox Jew who's sitting at a bus stop and someone's shouting profanities at him, or even a homeless person, if you see the abuser shouting something at them, which is inappropriate, racially inappropriate, actually start a conversation with the person that's being abused. Humanize them. Because if I was at the park and someone had just sort of at a social distance started a conversation with me, that would have humanized me. And that would have actually shown the perpetrator we're all human underneath our garments. There's nothing different about us at all.
Well, it was an absolutely brilliant burn from your child, I have to say, to that guy. And we'll laugh, but it's kind of funny, not funny. It is profoundly depressing at the same time and is an illustration of how much work still needs to be done. And the myth that racism doesn't exist in this country like it does, the perception in America is, you know, is clearly not realistic. But it's always brilliant to talk to you, Nighat. And thank you so much for your time this morning. Keep smiling.